Multiplying monomials, lesson 4.1 notes. Before we can understand how to multiply monomials, you have to understand what a monomial is. So take a moment and write the definition for monomial down. That's what I am highlighting right now. We are going to be writing 2 lines of notes underneath that, so please make sure you write your definition small enough that you can fit 2 lines of work underneath it. So again, pause your video and get the definition of a monomial down. Okay, a monomial is an algebraic expression that is either a constant, a variable, or a product of a constant, which would be the coefficient, and one or more variables. So here are some examples of a monomial. Well, if the monomial was just a constant, that would be like 5 or 2 or something. Just a variable would be x or y. But I'm going to give you examples of a product of a constant and a variable. So the first one might be 5a squared b cubed c. It's one example. Another example might be negative 20 w, x, y, z, and let's make z to the 100th power. Another example might be negative r squared, s to the 4th, t to the 50th. Now you're going to have to get in the habit of putting lines through your z's and tails on your t's. So please put a tail on your t there. I know it seems odd and you're not used to it, but from this point forward, you're going to be dealing with both numbers and variables, so we want to make sure we are able to distinguish between what's what. So we're going to put lines through our z's and tails on our t's. Okay, so here are some examples of a product of a constant and one or more variable, and those variables can be raised to different powers or different exponents. So when I look at this, okay, the coefficient of each of these, all right? For the first one, what is the coefficient? It's that number out front. So for the first one, the coefficient is 5. What's the number out front of the second one? It's negative 20. So the second coefficient there is negative 20. Well, look at the last monomial. The last monomial doesn't have a number out front. It does have a negative sign, but it doesn't have a number. Well, we've talked about this before. When you don't see a number, that number would be 1. So the coefficient of the last monomial would be negative 1. So 5, negative 20, and negative 1 are the coefficients. Of the examples. Again, 5, negative 20, and negative 1 are the coefficients of the examples. Pause your video, make sure you get all that written down. Okay. So now, when we multiply monomials, we will follow the next 3 steps. The first step is to group the coefficients together, then group like variables together. So, well, first of all, again, the coefficients are the numbers in front of the variables. Coefficient is the number in front of the variable. When it says to group like variables together, that means you'll group all your x terms together. You'll group all your y terms together. You'll group all your z terms together, and so forth. Okay, step 2, after you group stuff together, step 2 is to multiply the coefficients. Multiply the coefficients. For example, if you had 3x to the second power, 3 is the coefficient. I'm going to abbreviate coefficient. And the number of coefficients depends on the amount of parentheses are. So the number of parentheses will tell you the number of coefficients. So the number of parentheses is the number of coefficients. This will make more sense when I do some examples with you. So the first thing you'll do is you'll group all your coefficients together, you'll group all your like variables together. Then the second step will be to actually multiply all the coefficients together. After that, you will multiply the like variables by using the product of powers property. We learned that on the front of the notes. Product of powers property means that we add exponents. So again, the power of products property means, or the product of powers property means we add the exponents. So one more time, you're going to group the coefficients together, you're going to group the like variables together. Then you're going to multiply the coefficients, then you're going to multiply the like variables by adding their exponents. Again, this will all make more sense when we start to do some examples. Right, if you have any questions, please let me know.